This is a good movie podcast with Katie and Joe.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to This is a Good Movie podcast. It is hosted by a married couple because we needed another podcast by a married couple. I'm Joe Bates.
And I'm Katie Hetledge.
Yeah. She's been wondering if she should take my name, and I say only privately.
Right.
Don't let anybody actually know your last name is my last name. Because we're progressive, but also not. Anyways, this is a podcast where you want to explain the whole premise of it, Katie?
Yeah, since we are progressive, but possibly not.
Yes.
I'm glad that we got that out there.
That's the first thing
the
we're going to hear.
The premise of the podcast is very simple. Joe is elderly, and you're 7 years older than me.
Yes.
And you're also a boy.
Yes.
And you are the youngest among your siblings, and I'm the oldest among mine.
That is true.
And so I feel like we have these gaps in our movie watching repertoire where there are movies that are like fundamental to who I am as a person. Oh, Wally's walking around. That's our dog, Wally.
Yeah, we'll bring up Wally later.
We're going to have to declaw him for this. I'm just kidding.
I was thinking about cutting his feet off. Just
Or we
dragging
just-
him like a worm on the sidewalk.
Or we could get some rugs up in here.
Yeah, well, we had rugs. That's a story for another day. Yeah, so basically, I know all these good movies, and Katie's never seen them, and Katie knows some
Really
movies.
excellent films. Pieces of the culture, I would say.
Katie does keep calling her films Criterion Collection.
Was spelled with a Q. It's like wish list.
Yeah, it's QAnon.
No.
Anyways, Katie's Q. We've answered it here on the podcast.
Oh my gosh, you're putting lies out. Like immediately putting lies out about me and us. And that's not what this is for. This podcast is about the truth.
Yep, it just sounds more and more like you the more you talk about it.
I hope we get through what the premise of this podcast is soon.
I feel like they understand it. We are making the other person watch a movie they never watched that we've watched that we can't believe they never watched. We're like, this is a good movie.
Podcast.
But Katie, as always, since I'm a gentleman and I'm progressive, but maybe not so much, ladies go first.
Yeah. So I picked a movie that's important to me, and I made Joe watch it. And that film, Criterion Collection, is Sweet Home Alabama.
Sweet Home Alabama, a movie I'd never seen before, and not surprised that I hadn't seen it before.
I mean, I'm surprised. It came out 20 years ago. It came out in 2002, so 20 plus years ago. It's been around for a long time, and I feel like it's one of those movies that is on TV a lot. Like when you would be channel surfing, it would be on like, TBS or whatever.
So this movie came out in 2002?
Mm-hmm.
So that means it came out right when I was newly acquired high school student in Aurora, Illinois. Trying to make my way about it. Not looking for people to go see Sweet Home Alabama with.
Well, no one's making you see it in theaters. I didn't see it in theaters because I was a child and I was not yet. I think it's PG-13 and I wasn't 13 yet. So I watched it, on DVD, a rental.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
I knew about this movie. Like, I had mentioned it to you that I've never seen it. I did not. I thought the movie... So we watched it and we're going to, talk about it and everything. I thought the movie was about someone dating someone ashamed of their home and was doing everything they could for them to not go to their home. And so her, fiance just barged his way into her hometown and had to deal with the cast of characters.
Gotcha.
I did not know the movie was about a decent man getting his heart broken by criminals.
Okay.
It's a city of criminals, and they do everything they can to destroy one nice man's life.
He's fine. He's a boring man. He's a boring politician. Like, There's nothing special about him.
Nothing special about him. He loves Reese Witherspoon. He loves her so much, and he treats her well, and he has this whole thing about getting a diamond ring. He's 8 months in, and he's all in, baby.
Okay, so let's back up. Just a quick recap. The movie stars Reese Witherspoon, and she is a up-and-coming fashion designer doing very well for herself in New York City. She's dating the son of the mayor, and they get engaged, and then she has to go back to Alabama to divorce her, like, high school sweetheart. They got married right out of high school, and she's been trying to get divorced, but he won't sign the papers. And then, of course, you know, they rekindle the flame, and she ends up back with him, and there's, like, a really excellent cast throughout it. A cast of characters, as you said, not a cast of criminals. A cast of excellent character actors.
This movie does not understand New York City. This movie doesn't understand
Yeah, it does. She's
Alabama.
like working in a loft. There's like exposed brick. What's behind us right now, Joe?
Yeah, that's exposed brick.
Exposed brick.
Yeah, I would not call this a loft, though. I would call we live in a hallway. But I'm trying to get to the point that Melanie Carmichael sounds cheap. That's a cheap brand. That's a cheap name.
Dare you?
Which I will say the movie does get right because Melanie Smoot doesn't know what class is.
It's Smooter.
Smooter.
How dare you?
Reese Witherspoon, when they go, so she goes back to Alabama and everybody just tells her all the terrible crimes she did.
As a child.
As a teenager and seems to be early 20s.
They are not crimes. They are misunderstandings about how cats exist in the world and cease to exist in the world. And harmless, like, pranks.
Harmless pranks. Again, I want to say this. She does tie some dynamite to a cat and throw it in a bank.
No. Oh my gosh. I'm honestly concerned that you weren't even watching the movie because that's not what happened. And at the end when the cat shows up, you were literally like, what's that cat doing? And I was like, that is the cat. A through line in the film.
So the cat, she didn't tie dynamite to a cat. Is that incorrect?
No, she did, but it was because the cat was sick and she was worried that the cat was going to get put in this, like, awful chamber situation to be put down, and she didn't think that was humane. So she put the dynamite from the construction site out by the highway onto the cat's back, and they were going to blow up the cat, but then it took too long and the cat ran into the bank.
Okay, so...
But the cat got loose, so really, it's fine. And as you saw,
it's fine.
There are, like, multiple scenes in the bank, so it's clearly, like, still standing. They were covered. What, now you're on the side of the banks?
No, I'm on the side of not tying dynamite to a cat. And this is gonna ruin the mayor's son when it comes out. McDreamy plays the mayor's son, and I can't stress enough that she keeps doubting their relationship, and he's like, no, it's good. We're doing fine. He, like, backs her up emotionally, then also celebrates her with what I believe her love language is gift giving.
Or maybe that's what his love language is, and maybe she actually hates it.
Oh, that's true.
We don't know.
She doesn't fall in love with her ex-husband until she realizes that he has a very successful glass business.
I think her love language is yelling in a deep southern drawl that we're not sure where it came from.
Is Reese Witherspoon's accent consistent throughout the movie?
I think yes. Also, she is from the South.
Yeah, she was born in Louisiana.
Yeah, so...
I checked that out, because I wanted to see if everybody was born in the South or not. Fred Ward, he's East California.
That's her dad, plays her dad.
Bobby Joe... I believe he's...
Bobby Ray?
Bobby Ray.
Played by Ethan Embry.
He was California, but everybody else seemed to be from the South. Her husband was from, like, Mississippi, I think.
Josh Lucas plays Jake Perry.
Is Josh Lucas from anything else?
Yeah, he's in a ton of stuff. I'm gonna look it up.
Oh, you don't even know what to tell you. Yeah, that ton of stuff you have to look up on your phone immediately afterwards?
No, he is in a ton of stuff. This is definitely what, like, I know him best from. Well, he's in Yellowstone.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
right now, that's like the big
bunch
thing.
of dumb Southerners shooting each other. I lived in the South. I don't like this representation of the South.
Why? Because it's too real.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing it doesn't get right is Alabama children are very dumb.
Oh my gosh, we're not putting that out there. What is wrong with you?
Well, lightning strikes. They go over to the lightning.
Yeah.
And then her first instinct is to just touch where the lightning hit.
Now, are you referring to the opening dream sequence with Dakota Fanning, or are you talking about the like callback sequence at the end?
That's a dream sequence?
No, it like really happened, but then she's dreaming. She's dream remembering it.
So remembering, sure.
In her dream.
Yeah, remembering.
Oh my god.
It's a combination of dream remembering.
Let's not spend any time on that.
That is what happens. So the lightning strikes, and then she goes to touch the lightning.
She's not touching the lightning.
Where the lightning hit, where it's clearly hot.
In the sand, because it made a beautiful glass sculpture that they could sell for a lot of money.
But still, you weren't taught not to touch hot things. That's her first instinct to do it. He stops her, and then he goes, "This is the safest place. Lightning never strikes the same place twice." And then, boom, they get hit by lightning.
No, they don't actually get hit by lightning. That is her waking up from the dream.
Wait a second. You're telling me in this movie, that dream sequence, the second everything is real until the second lightning bolt. This is like Breaking Bad, like he's dead in the last episode. That was fake. I was sure they got struck by lightning.
No, they didn't get struck by lightning. It's like you've never seen a rom-com childhood dream sequence before.
You're telling me no, Katie, that's insane. That's an insane thing. They did everything is real except for the thing where they get struck by lightning and they show children flying from different angles. That's what's in her dream?
Okay, listen, the amount that they refer to things that happened when they were children in this movie, they don't this is the one thing that they show of them being kids. Everything else is just referred to as a story, and there's a lot of backstory here. Not once do they reference being hit by lightning, and I think they would have.
That's why I was so confused. Where I'm like, why don't you talk about the time you were struck by lightning?
Because they weren't. Because that was a dream.
Oh my god, you're telling. This doesn't have the nuance and layers to do a dream sequence of a real event.
It does.
But then partial thing is just actually lightning sparked between you.
I'm sorry
crazy.
that they didn't I don't know, dumb it down enough for you. I guess they figured their target audience of Alabama children were smarter than that.
That's insane. And I don't think we need to really recap. We'll do a quick thing on the movie because
I already recapped.
No, I know. I'm saying talking details of it because people listening have probably already seen the movie.
I mean, I would hope everyone has seen it. And if you haven't, you should be pausing this right now. Save it.
Watching all of Sweet Home Alabama.
Download this to your phone and then go watch Sweet Home Alabama. It's a quick 2 hours. And then come back.
It's insane. And it's full of music that doesn't fit anything except for Sweet Home Alabama, which they play, I think, 3 times in the movie.
So you didn't like the soundtrack?
No, because it's full of a 90s soundtrack of 90s women pop songs that don't fit what the theme of this movie is.
To be fair, I don't think you understand the theme of this movie.
Well, the theme of
based
the movie,
on anything you've said.
I didn't realize that there was dream sequences of reality and
oh my gosh,
fakeness. But I don't know. It just seems like I know it's doing that thing where actually Southern people aren't dumb and we're actually smarter than you think, which in itself is kind of talking down to the Southern people.
Listen, I'm not here to get into all of that. I'm here to talk about this amazing movie.
Okay, we'll talk about it. You're just saying you love the movie.
Yeah.
So what are the reasons you love the movie? You love the fact that she's leaving her new fiancé.
Yeah, very relatable.
For a man who has spent 7 years
Yes.
7 years, too scared to do anything to get his wife back. But now that he's actually made something of an attempt, she needs to drop everything and like get back with him because he won't
Joe.
sign divorce papers.
No, he went to New York to get her back, and he realized he was going to have to do more than apologize to get her back from New York. And he has been trying to conquer the world ever since, as said by Melanie Linsky. And so that's what he's been doing. He's been trying to make something of himself. And you may not have noticed, but when they go to have lunch and like check out the Deep South Glass place, it's the grand opening. Did you see that banner? It was like opening weekend, grand opening. So yeah, he has just now managed to get this amazing business entrepreneur off the ground. And so now he feels like he is deserving of her, and they're gonna conquer the world together.
So then when he has an attempt to actually try and win her back, what does he do? Nothing. She has to do everything herself and go to him while he is pounding lightning rods in the sand for lightning to strike. That may be real. I mean, not be real. He doesn't even like fight for her in the end. She makes the mistake with the wedding, the divorce papers and signing them. And then she has to go find him because he's at the very end, even when he made something himself, still a loser.
No, not so, what are you talking about? Still a loser. He's really hot. Like, I think you're overlooking this.
I'm sorry, is his nickname McDreamy? Because I'm pretty sure the nickname of McDreamy lasts with her fiance.
Patrick Dempsey is like, fine. I don't know. I didn't watch Grey's Anatomy, so like, that's not gonna do it for me. What I did watch was Sweet Home Alabama over and over and over. So.
Should I be concerned that we recently got married and you made the first movie you wanted me to watch is someone who leaves their newly engaged fiance for an old flame?
I don't have that. I haven't already been married. I didn't get married to a high school sweetheart.
I don't know that. She never told him.
You do know that.
That's why you're not allowed to go back to St. Louis ever.
That's where we got married.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my gosh. I just feel like you're being really hard on these characters in this rom-com. And, you know, you've never been married to a high school sweetheart, and then 7 years later you thought that you both had moved on, only to find out that you in fact haven't. You haven't experienced that, so I don't think we can be throwing stones here.
So that means if I have,
and that's a precedent that I'm going to set right now for the entire podcast.
If we haven't experienced something in the movie, then we can't judge it for any of the things.
I just don't think we should be as harsh judging their choices. They're not hurting people.
The movie is chaotic. It keeps cutting back to like Murphy Brown, the mother of the mayor of New York
Candace
City,
Bergen,
which is also like downplayed so much from like other people's knowledge. Like, it's the goddamn mayor of New York City who is like trying to meddle, but I think she's in the movie a total, if you combine everything, 12 minutes.
Sure.
And she's supposed to be the villain of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
She's just right away villain. Mm-hmm. Evil from the beginning.
Well, she doesn't like her because she's a fashion designer.
Is it because she's from the South or because she's
a fashion designer?
Gotcha. So she doesn't want the president of the United States married to a fashion designer. Yeah,
at the very end, they show that his engagement announcement to a Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That's
so clearly not about the South, just about the fashion. And also, they've only been dating for 8 months.
They're engaged, though.
After 8 months?
Yeah. You moved in with me after 3 months.
We didn't get engaged.
I mean, at that point, yeah, COVID happened, so you're basically engaged if you're living with somebody.
Yeah, engaged by default.
There was a point in the movie, I forgot about this. So she goes to his house. She breaks in like a ninja. He doesn't know it. He turns around, turns back like Batman. She is in the house that he thought he locked.
She's a key.
Yeah, but it's very stealth. Then they call the sheriff in. So the sheriff is there. He tries to blame her for every crime she's ever done in her life. And the sheriff goes, "It's not a big deal anymore.
Right.
But you guys are married still. So if you want to kick him out, you can say, if he hit you, because we take that stuff pretty seriously
Nowadays. I mean, yeah, it's 2002.
Finally, it's not good.
No, it's not. You're right. Domestic violence is an issue in this country. I don't know what you want to get into about that.
It's just like a real casual, and I think it's said for a joke.
No, it's not.
Okay. Well, then maybe I'm incorrect.
I guess it's just funny to you.
And then I guess the Confederate pillow on her parents' couch is also not a joke.
It's not a joke. Okay, so I looked into that because I was, doing my homework, and in the director's cut of the film, Andy Tennant is the director of this, by the way. So he's directed a few rom-coms. I would say maybe the best known one is Hitch.
Okay.
Starring Will Smith. But also did Ever After with Drew Barrymore. I don't know if you've seen that. Probably not. Ugh, so good. Also, Melanie Linsky. And Fool's Russian, that was Kate Hudson, and like some others. Anyway, in this director's cut, he is kind of talking about, there's a plantation. They do this, like, the Civil War reenactment. There are definitely references to the South. And the crew and, like, the writers went down to Alabama before they started filming to, like, get a sense of the culture. And so they were like, we're not going to pretend like this isn't how it is. So they're not making them, like, overtly racist, but there is that, like, I mean, you lived in the South. You probably saw it. There is that, like, Southern pride where they would just randomly have, like, Confederate flag pillows. Yeah. Now, would that get included if this were made today? I'm sure no. And absolutely. Does it make the movie better to have it in there? No. It doesn't, like, it really doesn't. I think they could have left it out and it would have had change to the movie at all. But that's what he said.
It's very prominent on the couch, like the center of the couch. A weird pillow placement. Like it had to be in the shot.
Yeah, it's questionable.
There was an assistant told to move the Confederate pillow.
And can we get that pillow in frame?
What's the point of Bobby Ray in this movie? What is the point in having that character? Because is it to say the South doesn't understand gay people? Because they don't really do that. He lies for her 2 times in the movie. Is it just simply needed somebody to lie, and the only way they gave him death is...
Yeah, I don't have the answers to that, but if I had to wager, I guess, he does move the plot along several times. He's, like, kind of that best friend character.
Do you think they made him gay so that you wouldn't want Reese Witherspoon to end up with him?
Ethan Embry is very charming, yeah. So... He's not Josh Lucas. I'll say that, but he is charming. I do love him. There's like a soft spot in my heart for Bobby Ray. I don't know. Maybe they were like, you know what? Let's be a little bit progressive, but also not.
Yeah.
New title of the podcast, but
but it's an odd choice because when he first showed up, I was like, are there 3 love interests in this movie?
If only.
And then we find out he's gay because Reese Witherspoon's character is...
She outs him.
A terrible person.
Yeah, she makes him bad. Listen, no one's ever accused Reese Witherspoon of being a good drunk. We've all seen that police, like, body cam footage. Do you know who I am? So it's iconic.
Yeah, Melanie Smooter. I will say this: Josh Lucas and Reese Witherspoon do deserve each other in this movie, but they don't deserve the success that they get. They're both terrible people, I think.
Whatever.
I do like at the end of the movie, Bobby Ray, as they do with any side gay character, they meet the one other gay character. They have a quick look. Not that they're gonna fall in love. Yeah. Just that they're gonna have one crazy night.
and they might.
And then that's
good for them.
And go to the credits. It's never in like the late 90s, early 2000s, gay characters are just like, you get one night and that's the one good, that's your good ending for this movie.
Again, I don't love these like blanket statements that you're making about film.
Film.
You're just like, every movie that came out in this decade is blah blah blah, and I don't think we should be doing that.
I feel like it's pretty true for any rom-coms in this time period.
Okay, what else did you not like about this movie? I feel like I don't know if we're ever gonna get to things you did like, because maybe there aren't any.
I love McDreamy.
Yeah. So what's funny about that, you're not alone. In my research, my reading, Googling on the internet, they did test screenings of this, with some focus groups, get some feedback. And like all of the men who watched it were confused. They were like, but he didn't do anything wrong. Why did she not pick him? And like all of the women were like, yep, checks out. So I don't know what, it's some kind of like gender divide here. But yeah, the men are like, justice for McDreamy.
Yeah, well, it's just, maybe I'll become an incel. Is that how it happens? People watch this movie, they cheer for McDreamy, and although he was okay with it.
Again, we're married. I don't think you should become an incel now.
I think I have to for McDreamy. Let's see. There was one, things I liked about the movie. Mm-hmm. I thought Murphy Brown was great.
Candice Bergen. Very well-known actor.
She's Murphy Brown, though.
Yeah, but okay.
Yeah, they Murphy Brown movie.
I mean, some people maybe haven't seen Murphy Brown.
Like you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that just shows what the whole thing is about here. Every other scene when she's in the South, I don't know how many times she says it, but I feel like she says it when she sees every new character. She goes, well, if it isn't.
She does, and that is when her accent is stronger, and I am going to need to like get away from the mic to do this because she's so loud, but she's always like, Wade! And like, Bobby Wright!
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so much, and then they just mention some event. There's so many events they mention and never show.
You're right. We should have a prequel.
A prequel to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, who knows if we're gonna
the teen years.
Who knows if we're gonna involve the 6-month period of them in the hospital recovering from terrible lightning injuries.
Well, that won't be in there because unless they have a dream.
Yeah.
Okay, what else did you like? Because I have some fun facts.
I love the dog scene when he throws the ball into the lake and the dog goes to get it, and the dog is underwater for what seems to be 5 minutes, and then when it pops up, it is clearly a man in a costume or it is a plastic prop.
I think it's the plastic prop, yeah. But then there is a real dog again in the water.
Well, don't worry, folks.
It's not plastic the whole time.
He's not, but it's like so insane and so comically large as it pops up with a bone. Who does that? Who's like, here's a bone at the bottom of the lake. It sinks straight in it.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, he does acknowledge that it's 8 feet deep, so that's a bit of a challenge. That is one of like the funniest moments in the movie. So
I would say that is the funniest moment.
I think something to note about rom-coms, because you're a little bit new to this world, and we are, spoiler alert, going to watch a lot of them. There's like a spectrum, a continuum of like, is it rom or is it com? And it's really hard to get it right in the middle. Like When Harry Met Sally is perfectly in the middle of rom and com. This is mostly rom with just like a few really funny parts sprinkled throughout. Like there's really no comedic tone through most of the movie, but then it's like suddenly just a joke. Like someone just went in and punched up the script.
I would say it's more rom-com chaos.
You keep saying it's chaotic. Like, have you not seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
I have not seen it.
Oh my gosh.
So for you, Josh Lucas, you got the hots for him.
Sure.
If he wasn't a good-looking man, would you think this is kind of a dumb ordeal that she's partaking in?
I mean, that would be confusing.
All right. So then follow me here. The reason she wants to get divorced from him in the first place is he's holding her back. Mm-hmm. So she decides to leave. When she comes back to the town, a town she hasn't been to in 7 years or 12 years?
7.
7. She just goes crazy.
A little bit. It's like, yeah, you know, when you go home, sometimes you like revert a little bit to who you were as a child.
Again, not child, like early 20s.
Yeah, like teen.
Early 20s. You keep making her younger than she was when she was doing chaos and terrible things in Alabama. She was a scourge in Alabama.
No, a lot of what they bring up, I can't believe we're like circling back to this again, but a lot of those stories that they bring up happened when she was a child and a teenager. She wasn't 22 tipping cows over.
Oh, I felt like it was just that was their early. That was when they were married. That's what they were doing.
No, she was like 16.
When do you think they got married? At 18? High school sweethearts kind of thing?
Yeah, 18, 19.
So how old is she when she punched Murphy Brown in the face?
I don't know. She's like 27 in this movie.
So you think she was 20 when they broke up?
Yeah.
Interesting. That may be where I'm having an issue, because I thought she was like 31, 32.
I don't know. Let's see how old she was when she filmed this movie. Melanie Linsky, when she's in this movie, she's like 21 years old, playing that mom.
Really?
Of like 5 kids. Yeah. Yeah, she was saying like on set, so she still talks to a couple of the kids. Like she keeps in touch with them. I looked this up.
Are you really my mom? Sure, kids.
And she was like, yeah, I didn't know. She's a 3-year-old now. She's like, I didn't know what to do with those kids. I was like a 20-year-old, but Reese was already a mom. And so she would like take the baby and do, you know, baby things with it. Okay, so she's 47 now. So yeah, she was like 27.
Wow. No, she was younger than I thought she was in that movie.
Oh my gosh.
And then they get their big scene, and it feels like two people talking, but not to each other. When she comes up to him and he's like nailing stuff into the sand. Mm-hmm. She goes, "Hey, cowboy,
gotta get that lightning. Good for business."
Hey, yeah, gotta. Well, if it's dream lightning only, because you get that dream glass. She goes, "Hey, cowboy, you owe me a dance." She goes, "Nice dress. Where's your husband?" I'm looking at it. Apparently, you and I are still hitched. Is that right? Yes. It just like is like all trying to be the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the writing is so good.
It's like they're like, one of these is gonna be the line that everyone remembers from this movie, and it just like goes back and forth.
And okay, since watching this movie like 2 days ago, we've had a couple conversations about it with people. And what if people quoted from this movie? So I can kiss you anytime I want. The line is that like it worked. I don't know what you're.
But that was in the dream.
And it's at the end. It comes back because in the dream, real life dream,
yeah,
she's like, "What do you want to marry me for anyhow?" And he says it, and then at the end, he's like, "What do you want to be married to me for anyhow?" And then she says it, full circle, perfect ending.
Okay, I'll give you that. But before that, the lines are, "What is it about you Southern girls? You can't make the right decision until you've done all the wrong ones." Didn't land. No one's quoting that. Yeah, it was just, you're the first boy I ever kissed, Jake, and I want you to be the last.
Okay, are you auditioning for this movie? What's going on? You're just like reading a script right now.
I am reading a script, but I just feel like it's insane. Okay,
what did you think of you haven't even mentioned like the dog cemetery scene, which I cry every time.
Because it's not a dog cemetery.
It is.
It's only for one specific species of dog.
Yeah, for hunting dogs.
Yeah, but it's just weird. I've never seen a cemetery that's just for one certain type of dog.
That is a real place. So the town Pigeon Creek is made up, but they did actually film this in like a small town in Georgia, I believe. And that dog cemetery was like a real dog cemetery in the town. one thing about the town is that they didn't have a water.
Was it filmed in Alabama?
No, I just said I think it was filmed in Georgia.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It was filmed in the South.
Yes, it was filmed in the South, except for the parts that were filmed in New York.
In the dreams.
And the dreams were filmed in Dreamland.
Okay.
But it didn't have a water tower, and they like needed one for some of the scenes, so they had to bring one into the town.
Do you think the water tower made that movie at all? Like, they were sitting in the water tower for a second, but it did not.
I think it's just one of those things that they were like, this southern town has to have this. And it won't be right if it doesn't.
South likes than sitting in a water tower, as we are portraying. And
I think it might be more of a Midwest thing, but...
Yeah. So you got any fun fact, Katie? Is it the movie you chose?
Yes.
And, I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad I get to complain about stuff. This
Great.
is where I'm
I'm so glad.
Do you have any fun facts?
Yes. Well, I have facts.
Okay.
So when they get engaged, he takes her into Tiffany's, and he's like, whatever you want, babe. And they all pull out all the rings and stuff. This was the first movie to film at Tiffany's after Breakfast at Tiffany's. And I don't know if anyone has filmed there since. I mean, maybe in the 20 years, I don't know.
That is interesting. I would not have guessed that.
Yeah. I guess they're, sticklers.
Did it seem like the time we went to the Diamond District and I tried to get you an engagement ring and they said, are you going to buy one? And we said no, and they go, get out of our store.
That wasn't a great experience. We didn't go to Tiffany's, though.
That's true. We didn't go to Tiffany's.
If maybe we had done like Rent the Runway and gotten some fancy clothes and then gone into Tiffany's, we could have had that experience.
But if you go to stamps.com and say, that's a good movie podcast promo, then you can help me pay for a Tiffany.
One Tiffany, please. No, we don't have any sponsors. Don't even pretend. What if we get a sponsor down the line and then that's right where they cut into the episode to be like, here's the...
Yeah.
Commercial.
I just want to tell you, Katie's backing is improv, and she has constantly said no but to me this podcast.
Because you're wrong. Okay.
Yeah. What's some facts that may or may not be fun?
So this movie came out in September. It's September right now. It held the highest box office for September opening weekend until 2012. Do you want to guess what movie beat it out? You haven't seen this movie, I don't think.
In 2012, September release, and it's not a superhero movie?
No.
I'm going to guess, I'm going to go with Mad Max Fury Road.
No. Yeah. But Charlize Theron was in talks to play Melanie Carmichael / Smooter. Fun fact.
I do not think that would have been good.
No, Reese was perfect. I mean, in talks, who knows? I'll
definitely say Reese.
Someone
Reese
called
seems
someone.
to be the best person for this role, to be a terrible person, but you still like her.
Yeah. No, it was not Mad Max. Here, I'll tell you the lead people in this film. I still don't think you're going to get it. Adam Sandler and Selena Gomez. And I think also Andy Samberg, but now I'm actually second guessing that.
Adam Sandler. Oh, the one where Adam Sandler is Andy Samberg's dad?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's it for my guessing. Hot Rod?
No, it's animated.
8 Crazy Nights?
No.
Hotel Transylvania.
Hotel Transylvania. Which you haven't seen, right?
No, I've not seen.
Yeah, it's such a good movie.
Just so you know, that's why we're going to be allowed to do a lot of episodes of this.
Yeah, this will never end. So that's that. It got number 1 at the box office opening weekend, $35 million, beating out Barbershop.
That's crazy this movie did this well, to me.
$35 million. That's not like that great.
I know, but it's the number one.
But I guess September's not a big movie release month.
I just didn't think this movie would be like this kind of holding power in September. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not getting released on IMAX. You're not going to see.
Well, obviously not.
It just that I didn't realize that movie did. I guess I don't understand box office for rom-coms. I think that is a confusing thing to me, because the time I've been focusing on box office has been more in the time of like the MCU and DC movies.
Right.
Back before, it used to be just like Big Fat Greek Wedding was like the big movie.
And yet you never saw it.
No, I never saw it.
So, this did get some nominations
What?
for Teen Choice Awards.
Okay, got it. I almost spit.
Spit on me?
I was, yeah, like a camel. I was almost like a camel. Just hot spit on you, pissed off, just mad.
Yeah, no, it got like a few random nominations, but most of the nominations were Teen Choice Awards. It won for Choice Movie Comedy, Choice Movie Lip Lock, and then was also nominated for Choice Movie Actress Comedy and Choice Movie Villain. Candice Bergen.
She's barely in the movie.
But
It's
she's
like
great.
crazy that she's even the villain. They just had, like, I don't know why Candice Bergen agreed to do it, but she was great in it. Like, I will say the acting in this movie, I had no issues with anybody's acting in this movie except her mom. I thought she was a little bit kind of, I didn't really understand her that much. In that
What
movie.
about Jean Smart, who played Stella?
Oh, Josh
The
Lucas's
bar.
mom?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was fine. Was she famous then?
Yeah.
What a stupid role for a famous person to take. She's barely in the movie to give like.
I mean, she's not like, I don't know.
I feel like you didn't need a big actress for that. I feel like they wasted their money on Jean Smart.
How dare you?
I think she's great, but I just like why I don't know. There's sometimes in the movie you're like, what are you doing?
Okay, another not fun fact, but a big fact that I think will surprise you. This was the first film allowed to shoot in New York City post 9/11.
Really?
Yes. They were like, because they had to shoot the New York scenes in New York, and they were like, oh no, maybe we won't be able to, but they got approval. And they were the first film to do so.
If we're gonna let you film in New York, we're doing it big. We're opening Tiffany's up for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's really strange.
Yes.
I just the movie Sweet Home Alabama is the first New York movie. Wow.
They're like, you know what this country needs?
The South. Somebody desperately. New Yorkers. It's like New Yorkers trying to send people away. It's like, oh, there's a movie about going back home. Good, because it would really help our housing costs here. People just started leaving.
Please leave. Yeah. But yeah, I bet you didn't think that. That's a fun trivia fact.
No, I'll tell you what. First movie filming after 9/11 is not something I usually think about.
No, but now you can quiz people.
Yeah. And here's the deal: we don't make Sweet Home Alabama. The terrorists have won, so thank God.
Gosh. Okay, do you want to guess what this got on Rotten Tomatoes for audience score and critic score?
I did look. I thought I saw. Is it 33%?
Critics was 38%.
Gotcha.
Audience,
Audience is probably like 62.
78%. Audience loves it. Now, I did...
Loves it. It's a C.
78%. I did just text my high school friends group chat, and I said, if you had to rate Sweet Home Alabama on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 means perfect film, how would you rate it? I texted this 20 minutes ago, so a little bit late on my part. Not a single person has responded.
Okay, well, this seems like a discussion for off the podcast about your issues with people replying to you when you send a message.
If someone texted me that, I can't tell you how quickly I would respond.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
To be fair, most of them have children, so they are busy, but I'd be like, ooh, a text just for me.
I would say my friends would be pretty quick to it, but they would say I never saw it.
Right, yeah, I'm not pulling
I feel
them.
like guys group chats and women group chats are just a tad different in how people react to things. Guys are always very quickly to be like, oh, you asked me a question and I don't know the answer to it. I gotta let you know I don't know. Immediately.
This is fun. This is just going to be a podcast about what's the difference between men and women.
Yeah, well, that's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of our lives.
Those are my fun facts.
I will say my last note on this movie is they should die in a lightning strike.
No.
If they would have got struck by lightning at the end of the movie, which I was hoping for to happen,
Did you have any thoughts on the fashion of this movie? Because fashion plays a big role.
Again, Melanie Carmichael sounds like cheap brands at a Sears Roebuck.
Oh my gosh.
Next to a tractor. No, I don't really know much about the fashion of the movie. Everyone seems to be dressed normally. It wasn't like standing out, but it also wasn't distracting, so.
I have to say, it's funny because watching this initially, I was like, wow, this is the epitome of, like, this is peak fashion. I just wanted to wear what she was wearing, like, all the time. And then, I've watched this movie many, many, many times. And 10 or 15 years ago, I was probably, or no, like 5-10 years ago, I was probably like, this isn't looking great. This doesn't hold up. But now watching it, it's really circled back. I would wear any of those outfits right now.
It does seem, though, that, like, for a hot and humid area, they're wearing a lot of...
Oh my gosh, yes. And they...
black and, like, long sleeves.
They were dressed like it was a crisp fall in Vermont. And they, at one point, they're, like, talking about Christmas. And they're like, that's 4 months away. So I did the math. A lot of September in this movie.
Katie,
so it also...
that when she figures out what 4 months is, she's doing the math.
It, like, takes place in August, September. And...
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're in this. I
time.
know. They're like, she's wearing like a sweater, scarf, poncho thing. Like, that's not.
That reminds me of when Candice Bergen gets punched in the face by evil criminal Reese Witherspoon, who should go to jail for life. She's got like bug bites all over her face, and I feel like that's got to be a deleted scene or something.
Do you think you recognize that there were bug bites all over her face? Because I get a lot of bug bites.
Okay, well, this isn't about you, Katie.
Yeah, it is. Peeling back
just
the
a
curtain.
Weird, all right. What do you think you know the movie, you love the movie. What do you think the moral of the story is?
I wasn't expecting you to ask me that. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
You added that in.
Yeah. So what do you think the moral? What lesson am I to take from this movie?
Well, I'll tell you what lessons I did take, because I saw this as, a 10 or 11-year-old, I guess.
Yeah.
It came out in 2000. Yeah, a 10 or 11-year-old. And watching it back now, I'm realizing like just how much it did inform my understanding of what relationships are.
Jesus Christ.
And like, it's giving a lot of that, like Taylor Swift, like yelling in the streets in the rain, saying like fearless, which is not maybe like the healthiest approach to a relationship. But they yell at each other a lot, and I was like, that's true love. I always wanted like a childhood, high school sweetheart. Didn't really get it. That was a disappointing thing in my life. And then I feel like...
You dated that one guy who talked to ghosts.
Yeah, my high school boyfriend told me he could talk to ghosts.
That's a story right like that.
But I do think there's a whole thing in this movie about like...
I'm going to make something of myself. I'm going to become a ghost hunter.
No. About, do you follow your dream? Do you go to New York? Do you become a fashion designer? Or do you, like, give it up for love? And I think in this, it comes down to timing. And so,
why not both?
Yeah, porque gustos and timing.
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed... To me, the lesson I got is, you want to try and change and make the most of your life? Guess what? You messed up. You're a worse person now. You're evil.
No. You're
never
wrong.
Leave your hometown. Never change. Never move away.
Okay, I don't think I like this lessons learned segment.
Well,
let's move on from that. Okay, so if you had to recast the film, and by recast I mean you're switching out one actor in this film and you are replacing that actor with our dog Wally.
Easy.
Which character would you replace him with?
So, initially I thought Bobby Ray.
Okay.
But didn't want to do it because there's a lot of complicated things and Wally doesn't have that kind of range.
He's not a nuanced actor.
I feel like Wally would be best as the New York Post photographer that works for Candice Bergen.
Ooh, okay. So you know that's not a New York Post photographer. That's like her assistant.
Yeah, that's her assistant. And that she sees later, but they never really talk about it again. There's a lot of stuff they just kind of hint at and they just don't bring up again because they just want to focus on Reese Witherspoon kissing on the Alabama Gulf Shores.
Again, it got nominated for Choice Lip Lock that year, so
they knew where they were leaning.
Yeah.
Is there a reward? So yeah, I feel like Wally should be the kind of the Murphy Brown assistant, sort of snooping around because snooping.
He's a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, there is a dog in this film that he could have played.
No, he can't because he's not a hunting dog.
He is not. That is true.
If you threw a bone in the lake with Wally, he's not going in the lake. He's like, I lost the bone.
Yeah, he's not a swimmer. I would cast him as the like old, that old guy. The one who's dressing up as a Confederate soldier and like blowing the anvils into the sky, who's like lost his
the
marbles a little bit. Yeah, because sometimes Wally looks a little wackadoodle.
Yeah. So I just want to stress that I did cast mine as like a kind of Weasley character, and she did cast him as an old man, which is probably better. An old man in a Confederate uniform, but. No, I get it. I think you make a good point because he looks over a bush the same way Wally would.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
All right.
Let's get down to brass tacks here.
Okay.
And discuss this for another hour.
3.4% on your brass.
Brass tacks.
Brass tacks.
Is this a good movie?
Now, this is our first episode we've ever done.
Yeah.
And the first movie you chose to do for this is Sweet Home Alabama. Rom-com with Reese Witherspoon, McDreamy, a man who did nothing wrong, but also when he gets his heart broken, he doesn't care.
So
that's how good a guy he is.
Okay, I do want to interject real quick before you
bring
this up. So in an earlier version of the film, there are some scenes where Reese Witherspoon has like this assistant, this fashion designer assistant, like an intern basically. And then at the end, instead of being engaged to a Vanderbilt, he is engaged to her assistant.
So did they take that out because they don't want to make him a bad guy?
I don't know why they took it out. Maybe for time, because I think they also took out all of her scenes. Like they just cut this girl out of the movie.
Okay, it's not the other girl in her company that's like there for every night.
No, I think it's
like a totally different girl.
That's my understanding.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, he ended up happy anyway, so I like that. But to your point, to your question, is this a good movie? I am gonna say yes. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I like being frustrated with it, and it's only a good movie because I feel like I do like the loop of the "so I can kiss you anytime you want." Mm-hmm. Good end. I do like that he has a company and he does something. There's a little secret. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I didn't fully know what was going to happen in this movie because McDreamy was such a good person. I wish Candice Bergen was used better. I wish there was some other stuff. I thought the bar scene was great. I wish Bobby Ray made more sense in the movie than it was just to be outed and be a punching bag. But overall, yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a good movie. Thank you, Katie, for recommending it.
You are welcome. It is a good movie. It's a great movie. Let's watch it again.
No.
Right now.
I don't think we will. So, that's our first episode. What do you feel? You think we did? Was this a good podcast?
I don't know. We'll figure it out one of these days.
Good. The negativity always gonna have an undertone of
optimism.
We'll see one of these days.
No, I said we'll figure it out one of these days.
Okay, so anyways, I'm going up next.
Yeah, what are we watching next?
I have decided to go pretty much the very same quality, same level of movie, same genre of rom-com, and choose Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
The rom-com of the galaxy.
Yeah.
Is there a love interest in it?
No.
Great.
But there is a love interest, the love of Star Wars that you're going to feel through your blood.
I mean, I like Star Wars.
Yeah, I think
All
you like
right,
the movie.
well, let's not get into it now.
Anyways, you can follow us on social media that we have not made yet. But you can follow me, Joe Bates, at Joe Bates Comedy on TikTok, Instagram, and X. Katie, do you want to promote your TikTok? Katie makes all these good TikTok videos. I just do stand-up, so...
My TikTok is at Hello From Katie.
Okay.
Katie.
All right. I don't know why you pause like you're waiting for someone to write it down. There's nothing worse on a podcast than pausing. My TikTok is at Hello From Katie. Please respond, listeners.
So here, I don't know why, but I thought you'd be like impressed that I got that name.
What?
That it didn't need to be like Hello From Katie 247.
Okay, I'm the one that told you to use that name. What the fuck?
No, that can't be true.
What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is KT Hetledge.
Okay, perfect. This is probably...
But they should just go to yours, and then they can find me there, because I'm tagged in the photos of our wedding.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much, everybody. This is a good movie podcast. We want to thank the people who made our theme song, Cal Forbes, Austin Fry, and also thank for help with some of the editing and everything with Cal Forbes as well. And next time you go and see a movie that someone else hasn't seen, make sure to tell them.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
This is a good movie podcast with Katie and Joe.